Nation of Fit in 10, I just filmed day 7's video and I didn't record it because I didn't hit record apparently. So I'm doing it again. Not that you need to know that, but anyways, it is day 7 and we are 10% through the challenge. So you can see how fast this is going to go, right? 1 week down, 9 weeks to go. Okay, now don't freak out because you'll learn a lot and you're going to make a ton of progress moving forward. But one thing that I want to remind you is you need to keep trying. Don't try and hide or run away from this. I want you to dive in and really tackle these things. Send me your journal every day. People are doing this, but listen, there's a lot of you who aren't. And all that tells me is more than likely things are not going that well, or you just don't want to face it, or yeah, that's just from my experience. Okay. So I'm going to encourage you, let's get through these bumps and hurdles and these, points of difficulty. Now let's address them head on. Let me help you and let's tackle this and do really well in the challenge. Okay. The entries of the food makes a huge difference. And again, I'm not asking for you, or I'm not saying you have to do this for the rest of your life. This is more than anything about learning what contains what and in what quantities. This is also about me showing you that you can eat a reasonable amount of food and lose a lot of body fat, okay? Yesterday I mentioned about the importance of carbohydrates. I think it was yesterday, I'm pretty sure it was. So I listed a bunch of reasons. Carbohydrates in your diet, a lot of people think carbohydrates are evil, they avoid them, they want to, they think that it's the end of the world. But again, just like anything, there's a happy medium. There's a happy medium with the amount of carbohydrates that you have, okay? So I'm not saying carbohydrates are the end all be all. I'm not saying you have to have them in your diet. But in my opinion, if you get all those macros, you get more chance at more variety. Okay? And the whole point of this is to show you you can lose weight eating some carbohydrates in your diet. Okay? But there's 3 things that I just want to emphasize here. And of course, we want to always think long term. Okay? You're going to hear me say this over and over again. We want to think long term. We want to think long term. This is not about sprinting. This is not about trying to lose 10 pounds in a week. Okay? This is about moderation and something that is lifestyle based. So we want to think long term. Obviously, I kind of just said it in different words, but sustainability, right? We want this to be sustainable. In order for it to be sustainable, it has to be reasonable. All right? And finally, we want to keep our lean body mass as high as possible, because this will keep our BMR, our basal metabolic rate, higher. And this is going to allow us to, essentially with a higher lean body mass, you're going to burn through more energy. The last thing you want is to have a lower BMR. Then you're not going to be burning as much. Then that means you have to eat less. And then that means you have to move more to get the same result. Right? So we want to keep that BMR. So where does carbohydrates fit in this? Well, carbohydrates is, as I mentioned yesterday, it's going to help preserve protein to do its role, right? And that's very important. Okay? Also, we just need a certain amount of calories, or else the body will chew through more lean mass. It'll chew through some fat, for sure. But it's also going to chew through lean body mass. And we don't want that. Okay, it's not in our interest to lose lean body mass. We're already all on the road to losing it. Okay, I'm telling you that right now because you're aging. Okay, now some of you are young, or a lot of you are young, so you're not really going to notice it. But as you age, especially when you get up into those senior years, you're going to lose a lot of lean body mass. And just a quick story here. My uncle, well, he's not really my uncle, but we call him my uncle. Anyways, long time family friend. I always wanted him to weight train and do it. He never did it. And then he was skiing up on the mountains last year, and he fell down and he couldn't get himself up. It was the first time he couldn't get himself up. Why? Because he's probably, his lean body mass has just been going down. And he's in his, later 70s. And he's just at the point now where he's just not strong enough, right? So we want to think long term. We want to think about bone density. And we want to think, especially when it comes to fat loss, it's not in our interest, like I said, to lose that lean mass, okay? One reminder here. I know I'm kind of going all over the place. I'm going to send you your numbers this weekend, obviously, and there's going to be a link in there, and that's going to be a link for you to fill out It's going to be a link that's going to go to a page that you're going to fill out, and you're going to send it to me, okay? Each and every one of you are going to do this. Now, there are a lot of you who are not sending me their journals, and that's not a good sign. That tells me that you're kind of like, don't really want to like, really, hit the nail on the head, so to speak, when it comes to diet. So I am going to remind you how important this is, okay? And listen, this entry of food is not something that you have to do for the rest of your life, but it's really important because I want you to learn what foods contain what in roughly how many proportions, or in what portion, excuse me. And so you get a much better idea of when you eat in the future, you're going to have a much better, well, not always, especially at a restaurant, because there's a lot of hidden calories at a restaurant, but you get a much better idea of where your calories are coming from and how much is in what. Also, I want this to be, an eye-opening thing, because, which it is for most people when they finish the challenge, because I want you to realize that, you don't have to go super low calories to lose weight, and, I just went through all that. It's not sustainable. What's the point? If you lose a bunch of weight doing something extreme, and then you can't do the extreme thing anymore because it's extreme, you just go back to where you were, okay? Or worse, right? Especially if you lose lean mass, you're in a worse position. Okay, because now you have to do more to make up for that lost amount of energy expenditure from your BMR, right? Because you lost some of that BMR, because you lost lean mass. Okay, so, I'm really trying to nail this home with people. It takes a lot, because people always think less is better, but no, there's a happy medium. There's a happy medium, which, by the way, you guys all know where your BMR is, right? Right, your basal metabolic rate on the sheet. Where is it? Right here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. All right, so my BMR is estimated to be 1950-ish. And that's the amount of energy it takes to keep the lights on. This doesn't include the amount of energy, the amount of energy you're expending through exercise. It doesn't include the amount of energy you're expending through non-exercise activity. Thermogenesis, something we call NEAT, but just think of it as non-exercise, right? All the energy you're expending doing non-exercise stuff, like me right now, moving my hands around, trying to be animated, trying to keep your attention, right? And of course, the thermic effect of food, the amount of energy it takes to basically digest the food. Okay, we'll talk about that more in the future. All of that added on to your BMR, and that's your expenditure for the day. Okay. All right, how am I doing for time? 8 minutes, not good. Okay, I want to talk about a question here. So I guess I'll address it tomorrow. It was a good question that was asked me today, so I will address it tomorrow. And let me get to the message of the day. And the message of the day is, this is a process. This is a process. This whole thing is a process. It's not about trading in a day for trading in a pound. No, it doesn't work like that. Okay, you've got to put some input in and you'll get some output, okay? But it's not about putting in, when I say input, I'm talking about some food here, right? It's about having a happy medium with your food intake, right? And then thinking about this as a total process. It's not all about expenditure, and low calories. It's not all about that. It's an overall process. All right? And I'm going to hear me say it over and over again. It has to be sustainable. You're just a reflection of what you've recently done. I don't know what else to say. Okay? This is a process. This is a process. All right? Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to y'all very soon. See you guys.